especially to the children of Africa. Happy International African Child's Day. Happy? Are you happy or not? It seems there are not many African children in our midst today. I don't know. Are you here? Who is an African child? Am I an African child? Are you sure? So, who is a child? Let's start there quickly. How old do I have to be called a child? Huh? 18 and below. But you are saying that I am a child. Yeah? Is it also my day today? No. I am an African person, maybe not so much a child, but in other ways we can always refer to ourselves as African children. So let me once again congratulate you, African children present here today and elsewhere in our beautiful continent. So as was said, my name is Natalia Halweendo, and I am standing here on behalf of our director, Ms. Philile Masuku. She is based in Harare, Zimbabwe, so those arrangements are what they are. So she's responsible for the International Labour Organization in Zimbabwe and Namibia. So this theme that we have today is a very big theme. I'm wondering how many of the children here have seen it before and will actually understand what it means. But let me see if I can really do justice to it and help you understand why we are talking about developing our human capital by putting in place better social safety nets, especially in Namibia. So I want to draw your attention to the importance of investing in human capital development of the current generation. Today we talk about African children, especially by putting in place the social safety nets. This approach is really recommended by the ILO, that is the International Labour Organization, but it's also very important for creating a productive and self-sufficient workforce that can realize its full potential as valuable contributors to society. Now, you are probably also wondering, why are we talking about a workforce when we are talking about children? Should your children be working today? Should you be working? You don't need to be working. Your parents and caregivers are the ones who need to be working. But we talk about this in relation to a hopeful future, to a better future that has productive employees, that has productive citizens in our country. So the ILO is advocating for social justice and decent work. When we talk about decent work, we are really referring to the fact that people who are employed need to have the right conditions within their places of employment. That means that they are safe from harm, that they have social protection, that means medical insurance and other types of insurances that are necessary to make them thrive in their workplaces, and many more. Decent work is not a fixed term as such. So we are saying that investments of only about 4%, I don't know how many of us know how much our gross domestic product is, but only 4% is needed to progressively realize universal coverage. It's 4%, but it's a lot of money still. But it makes sense in the bigger picture. So we are saying that the call for this establishment of comprehensive social safety nets is based on ILO's 7 dimensions of social protection by providing access to healthcare, education, income support, and other resources Social protection nurtures human capital development and ensures that individuals can lead productive and fulfilling lives. By ensuring that we have individuals that have access to these fundamental resources, we can enable them to overcome poverty, inequality, and we know that inequality is quite a big problem in Namibia today, and other barriers that definitely hinder our development. The Day of the African Child, which is today, is a powerful reminder of the unique challenges faced by children across the African continent. It calls upon us to address the barriers that hinder access to quality education, healthcare, and protection from exploitation. Through this, we can achieve several outcomes. The first one, individuals will be better equipped to find gainful employment and contribute to economic growth. When people have access to education and skill building opportunities, they can acquire knowledge and competencies needed to meet the demands of a rapidly changing job market. Secondly, social safety nets ensure that individuals have the means to meet their basic needs. When people do not have to worry about their immediate survival, they can focus on personal and professional development, thereby unleashing their potential and creativity. And this in turn leads to more productivity in our workforce, innovation, and social cohesion. And lastly, investing in human capital through this social safety net breaks the intergenerational cycle of poverty. When children have access to quality education, nutrition, and healthcare, they are more likely to grow into productive adults who can contribute to society. The proposal for this basic income grant is an exemplary initiative that aligns with ILO's social protection recommendations. It is underpinned by its ideals to lift people out of poverty, enabling them to become economically active and to redistribute wealth. By ensuring a basic level of income, the BIG, my apologies, enables individuals to meet their essential needs such as food, education, and healthcare. I want to bring to your attention that just this week, on the 12th of June, the world commemorated the World Day Against Child Labor. I asked you earlier whether children should be working, and the answer is definitely no. So this day, on the 12th of June, was commemorated under the theme Social Justice for All and Child Labor, bringing attention to the plight of millions of children engaged in exploitative labor worldwide. But what we see happening with child labor is the very opposite of social justice today. Worryingly, for the first time in Africa, in 20 years, child labor is on the rise in Africa particularly. Africa has the largest number of child laborers. At least 72 million African children are estimated to be in child labor, and 31.5 million of those are in hazardous work. So this work includes all forms of the worst forms of labor, including child trafficking, prostitution, and domestic work. So Namibia is really no exception to child labor. And we know that one of the things that we must recognize here is that child labor rarely happens because parents are bad. People don't send their children to work because they are bad parents, or that's how they prefer it, or that they do not care. Rather, it springs from a lack of decent work and a lack of social justice. You know, we see children in the malls, just the mall closest by here, probably begging. They want bread, they want something, 50 cents, $1, $10. And their parents may know where they are. In fact, I was very sad to see and shocked indeed to see a parent begging with her child. She put her child forward to say, go and ask for $10 from the auntie. It's not because she's a bad parent. It's not because she doesn't care about her child. In fact, it was in the late evening, early evening, 7 o'clock, in the middle of winter in the city center. So here it's because people do not have opportunities to decent work or the social safety nets that we talk about today. So therefore, the solution here, the antidote is that the antidote to poverty-driven child labor is decent work for their parents and caregivers, so they can support their families and send their children to school and not to work. The pursuit of social justice requires investing in social protection as an instrument to combat child labor and promote the human capital development of children and their parents through enhancing decent work opportunities. It is very important to recognize that investing in human capital through social safety nets is not just an expense, but it's a wise investment with significant returns. When individuals are provided with the necessary support and protection, they are more likely to achieve their full potential. They become active participants in the economy, fostering innovation, productivity, and what we like to talk about in the United Nations, sustainable development. In the coming months, the United Nations system in Namibia, along with government, will be embarking on a process to develop a new framework to support the achievement of this sustainable development, the achievement of national development objectives under our National Development Plan 6. We will be starting work on that very soon. At the same time, the government has also put its name forward to implement the United Nations Secretary General's initiative on accelerating financing and delivery of these SDG results through the Global Accelerator on Jobs and Social Protection for Just Transitions. This is an initiative to achieve concrete outcomes in terms of decent jobs, social protection, and just transitions. So here we are really, as the United Nations, not just in Namibia, but globally, trying to put our money where our mouths are, particularly in the case of Namibia, where we have very high unemployment rates. We know that the high unemployment rate for young people and adults definitely has a spillover effect on the children in our midst, on our children. So this global accelerator will hopefully lead to a cycle or a virtuous cycle of sustainable development with social and economic outcomes, such as poverty reduction, gender equality, universal social protection, and indeed here, the creation of jobs. To conclude, I will repeat here that providing decent social safety nets to the current generation is a crucial and very, very important investment in human capital development. When we do so, we empower individuals to break the cycle of poverty and build a productive and prosperous future workforce. Let us therefore work together to create a socially just society where everyone has the opportunity to contribute to realize his or her full potential and contribute to the progress of our nation, this very beautiful country, Namibia. It can only really be beautiful when indeed we saw a poster here with one of the children, no one is left out. So we do hope that today is a positive reminder that we need not leave those ones on the margins of society out, and to do the best we can to ensure that this house and indeed our development is indeed inclusive. With those words, I would like to thank you for this opportunity and yet again wish our beautiful children here a happy International African Child's Day. Thank you.